listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again. And today, just like any other day, we have another show lined up for y'all. We have a special guest today, Daniel Packard, and he's going to share with us not just his brand story, not just his services that he uses to help his community and his clients. He is going to tell us all about what he does when it comes to anxiety. He has a website, danielpackard.com, and we're going to talk about some things that can be very relatable in today's time. But before we do that, we're going to learn more about Daniel. First and foremost, thanks for your time. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. It's nice to be here with your audience. Hello, I Am Refocused audience. I appreciate your listeners because I know, they want to be better people, better show up in their communities and their families at the highest level, and they're willing to do that deeper work to become that person. And it feels meaningful to be here with you because I want to share a perspective on the work we're doing that in a very effective and powerful way is really helping people be their best selves. And it's not information your audience has heard before. And most importantly, it solves a pain that I believe a lot of your audience has. And that is, we know that right now a lot of people are struggling with fear. Now, you may call that fear insecurity, doubt, worry, overwhelm, anxiety, panic, trauma. And if you struggle with any of those, which you do because you're probably a human being, your audience, they're self-aware. They've been working on themselves. They wouldn't be listening to this podcast if they were just like in denial. And your audience has listened to podcasts. They've done probably maybe some therapy, spirituality, faith, apps, meditation, breathing. They've tried so many things for their fear and anxiety. And I'm guessing your audience hasn't solved it. All they're doing right now is managing it. It's better. It's improved. And they'll keep going because they're strong. But it's no way to live when you're always managing the fear and anxiety because it holds you back. Your podcast is called I Am Refocused. Well, if you're full of fear and anxiety, it's hard to stay focused. You're scared. You're worried. You're not focused in the present moment. It's very difficult. And so I want to explain to your audience what we do that allows people to not manage their anxiety, but to have it be gone and not come back. And I know that your audience likes the sound of that, but I also know if you're listening to this, you're like, Daniel, come on. That's not possible. Well, I've been afraid my whole life. You can't just get rid of it. And here's why it's possible. Firstly, I'm going to spend the next little while explaining to Shamaya and you why fear and anxiety actually is solvable and simple. But also it's because we're not addressing anxiety. What we saw was that underneath most fear and anxiety is the average person just doesn't feel safe from within. And when you don't feel safe from within, then you're going to have these symptoms, which you might call anxiety, panic, trauma, fear, and worry. So I'm going to share with your audience how it's possible to just feel safe from the inside out. And then not only is that possible, but it's simple. And when you feel safe from the inside out, your ability to just be that glorious person that God wants you to be, that you want to be, that your family wants you to be, that's possible because when you feel safe, you are free to be that best version of yourself. And that's what I want to share with your audience right now.
And when people think of the word anxiety, and first thing that will come to mind is worriness. Being worried about this, being worried about that. Today's time, today's climate, you just go through the buffet line. There's something for you to worry about. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, in the middle. The fact of life is that there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be opportunities, though. And I think sometimes we let opportunities hide in the shadows because what we see is what we see. For you, how did you create systems for yourself to start seeing opportunities versus the harshness of reality?
Well, what we've developed is a process that allows a person to feel safe from the inside out. And I would love to tell you, Shemaiah, I would love to tell you that it just came to me. I was having a great day and I was called to do this and figure this out for myself and the world. But as you know, and your audience knows, some of the most valuable wisdom that we come by comes through struggle. And I'm no different. What I'm about, what my company's about, what I think people really want when they go looking for help is results. They don't always get results, but what we are passionate about, my company, is permanent results. And the reason I'm so passionate about it is because growing up, my dad was a scientist and he was an inventor. And I would see him invent things. And I just thought that was just the coolest thing ever. It was like a superpower. And he said to me once, I was about 10, and he looked at me and he said, you know what, Daniel, if you want to make the world a better place, and you don't like what you're seeing, you can just invent something that's better. Don't just settle for it. Invent something better. And I thought, man, that is good. You go, Dad. And then he also said something which always stuck with me. He said, anybody can have a theory or an idea, but the person you should trust and the person making an impact is the person that's getting results. He said, results really matter. And that always stuck with me. And so I wanted to become an inventor who could make things to make the world a better place, but that got results, because that's what people need. And so I went to engineering school, UC Berkeley, and I got properly trained how to take a complex problem that seems impossible to solve, and then you try and solve it through engineering. And then you build a prototype, and then you test it, and you look at the results, and then you refine it, and you optimize it. And so I got expertly trained how to develop systems and machines that get consistent results. Now, the good news was, Shemaiah, I was good at making machines work. However, in engineering school, they did not teach me how to make relationships work. I don't know if I missed that class. I don't know if it was like hidden in quantum theory. I don't really know. But I came out of engineering school and I fell in love. And spoiler alert, I did not live happily ever after. Disney lied to me. And the relationship, even though we loved each other, turned very unhealthy very quickly. And later I found out I was basically at times being emotionally abused. And I did something that I know nobody in your audience would ever do, Shemaiah. I stayed in a relationship way too long, way past its expiration date. And when it was finally over, about 2 weeks after the relationship was over, somebody interrupted me and I felt my whole system just get filled with terror. And I went, uh-oh, this is not a good sign. And then the next day, I was supposed to meet somebody and they were running late. And I felt so afraid. I thought I was going to die. And I got diagnosed with severe anxiety and complex PTSD. And, like your audience, when we have these challenges, whether it's anxiety, PTSD, overwhelm, depression, we go looking for help. And I went looking for help, doctors, psychologists, teachers of faith, spirituality. I went to retreats. I lived in an ashram. I did EMDR, CGT, EFT, EMDR, MOUSE. I did all the letters. And I went to all the experts with letters at the end of their name. And after 10 years and spending $100,000, I still had anxiety. I still had PTSD, and I was in a lot of pain. All my friends and family basically walked away from me, leaving me feeling even more broken and alone. And I wouldn't have taken my own life, but I definitely get why people do. I get it, because if you're trying and nothing's working, not only do you feel horrible, but you feel trapped and you feel doomed. And that moment of trying to make something better came from this just desperation. And I just looked up to God and I just said, God, what do you want from me, man? What? I've been spending 10 years trying to figure out, what do you want from me? Do it. Tell me and I'll do it. And I hear this voice with the words that my dad said when I was a kid. The words were, if something ain't working, invent something better. And results matter. And I was thinking, I thought you meant like machines or robots, but you're right. And I had this awareness, this kind of come to Jesus moment where I realized that therapy, psychology, spirituality, even aspects of religion, it just doesn't get permanent results. It doesn't get results. It doesn't get great results. And so to solve my own pain, but really the pain of so many people that feel trapped from poor results, I started my own research company with the mission to see, could we solve this? Could we solve this fear and anxiety and PTSD? Could we do it? I didn't know if we could. I just thought somebody's got to try it. And it was not easy. It took 8 years. It took over $1 million in research and development. I worked with 3,000 people on 5 continents. And I was one of the first test cases that began to feel better. I remember waking up one morning and all of a sudden I just felt calm and safe. And I thought it'd be temporary. I thought there's no way this is permanent. But one day goes by, 1 week goes by, 1 month goes by, and I've been chill as a cucumber for the last, 10 years. Just, I feel safe from within. Life can push on me, but it doesn't affect me. Now, when we saw that, my team said, we figured it out. We did it. And I said, no, we didn't do it. We did it for me, but that's not enough. We have to create something for the world. So we spent another several years developing this system that we developed and testing it and optimizing it such that now, for any type of fear, anxiety, worry, panic, we have a 90% success rate, which we're very proud of because we care about results. But also when we work with people, you don't pay us at the beginning. You only pay at the end once you have clear, measurable, permanent results. Your fear and anxiety are gone and it doesn't come back because results matter. And if we can't get you results, we're not going to charge you. And then the final thing I'll say about results is anything I say on this podcast, your audience, they're going to like what they hear. They're going to think, oh, this guy sounds nice, but they're not going to really believe me. They're going to be skeptical. So don't believe me. Don't trust me. You can't, anxiety and PTSD, these things seem impossible to solve. But at the end, I'm going to send you to my website and I'm going to allow you to get a free training that's going to teach you a free technique. And you're going to apply one of our techniques to yourself. And you're going to get an experience, a real result that you can measurably feel. It'll show you that you can actually be free of fear and anxiety permanently, and that it can even be simple. Why? Because results, they matter. Do you know what I mean by that, Shemaiah?
Yeah, and I like everything you're saying because not only does results matter, everything you're talking about makes me think of, my dad because he's a personality where he wants to discover the root cause. What is the root cause of the problem? Because until you can find the root cause of the problem, then it's almost like you're just sweeping it underneath the rug and you're like, okay, not a big deal. Well, that quote unquote not a big deal can grow into a huge deal if you neglect trying to find a solution to that root problem.
I mean, it's 100% right. Now we know, and your dad knows, and you know, and common sense knows, if you want to solve something right, you got to go to the root cause. The problem is there's so many experts on fear, worry, anxiety, PTSD, and they're all going around and they have an incomplete understanding of what's going on. But they're telling people there's all these different root causes. One person I saw gave a talk and said the root cause of anxiety is a lack of gratitude. One person said it was a lack of prayer. One person says it was past trauma. One person says it's the social media. There's all these people talking about what the root cause is. Now, they don't have the results to back it up, but they're saying it. And then your audience listens, they read the books, they listen to podcasts, and they get very, 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 very confused. And when you're confused, you can't solve anything, and it just makes you more anxious. So I'm going to share with your audience the root cause of their anxiety so that they can feel safe. Now, you can't know for sure that you should listen to me. But here's why you should listen to me, because we have the results to back it up. Like my dad said, anybody can have a theory. It's the person with results. So not only do we have a 90% success rate, not only did my anxiety go away, never come back, not only did all our clients' anxiety go away and never come back, but like I said, when we work with people, you only pay us when your anxiety goes away and not come back. And nobody else in this industry backs up their results like that, but we can because we're getting results. So yes, it's about getting to the root cause, but I believe, and this isn't being cocky, we actually know what the root cause is because we have the results to back it up.
And my next question, follow up to what you're saying. So are you saying, you can explore this even further, with your research, you have been able to discover that it's not a cookie cutter for everybody, but it's more detail in the work with that individual?
No, what we saw and the way we get a 90% success rate with one program is because we saw that there was an understanding of anxiety that's simple and applies to everybody. And people don't believe me. They think, no, everybody's different. Everybody has a different past. But when I explain to you what we discovered, it'll reframe how you see fear and anxiety from something complicated that is different for every person. And you'll realize it has one simple root cause. And that root cause is not only true, but it's solvable, because not every root cause is solvable. So no, what the huge breakthrough is that this isn't complicated. It feels complicated, but it's not. It's dead simple. And here's why it's dead simple. Because if you want to solve something for a lot of people, it's got to be simple. If it's complicated, you're not going to help that many people. But also, I'm an engineer, right? You want a solution, and you want a solution that is simple. That means you know what's going on. And we were looking for that. We were trying to find a simple solution that's solvable. Therapists and psychologists and doctors, a lot of spiritual teachers, they learn pre-existing information that they find helpful, that just manages this stuff. And then they share it with others, maybe for a fee. And, they're not trying to solve it. And it doesn't matter to them whether it's accurate or not, because, they get paid no matter what. And so there's so much stuff I took from a therapist and spiritual teachers, and they said it. And looking back, it wasn't accurate, and they didn't have the results to back it up. So here's why this is simple for every single person. The first thing we discovered is that the experts were wrong about the most important thing, which is where anxiety is coming from. The average expert, whether it's a therapist, psychologist, spiritual teacher, the going theory is that anxiety and fear is a problem of the mind, right? You'll hear things like, quiet your negative thinking, stop your scarcity mindset, quiet the ego. They give you pills to target the neurotransmitters in your brain. It's called mental health. It's got the word mental right in there. So your average person is trusting the experts, thinking it's a problem of the mind. Now, if thinking anxiety is a problem of the mind got the job done, if it solved it, great, it's in the mind. But me and my team, we looked at this mind model and we said, is this getting results? Is this solving it? And of course, the answer is no. Anxiety's on the rise. Suicide's on the rise. Depression's on the rise. Alcoholism-related liver disease is on the rise. Drug addiction is on the rise. And we said, that's just not good results. So maybe based on results, maybe these experts don't know what they're talking about, and maybe it's not coming from the mind. Maybe that's not the root cause. If it was the root cause, things wouldn't be getting worse. So we just looked at things with fresh eyes and we said, well, where might it be coming from? And the second we just started to be curious, the answer revealed itself, and it was dead simple. So when people have anxiety, let's just take the word anxiety. To your listener and you, Shemaiah, do people say, I think anxious or I feel anxious?
Feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do we feel it? Well, you'll feel it in your throat. You feel it in your chest. You feel it in your heart. You feel it in your stomach. You feel it on your skin. So the experts are telling everybody this is a problem of the mind. But listen to those words: throat, chest, heart, stomach. Does that sound like the mind to you or more like the body?
The body.
Yup. Was that complicated or simple?
Man, that's good. All right, I see where you're going. Man, all right. Real quick, I have to let people know we're talking to Daniel Packard. And continue, man. But yeah, that's real good right there.
Thank you. And it's good because it's simple, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's cutting all the noise out there where everyone sounds so sophisticated, but it's almost like just pouring a cup of tea. Just drink it. You don't have to talk about what I just did.
Thank you for that. Yes. People, we're trying to, man, thank you for saying that, because people come to us and when we say we're solving anxiety, they think, how's that possible? What fancy thing that you did? And I said, it ain't fancy.
Yeah.
The experts had an incomplete understanding of what's going on, and they sent everybody to the wrong location accidentally. Well, that's why everybody's so confused. If you're in a cave and somebody hands you a map and they tell you that the exit of the cave is in the north, but really it's in the south, but you were given a bad map, sent to the wrong location. You could spend your whole life trying to leave the cave and you couldn't leave the cave and you would feel trapped. You would feel broken. You'd think there's something wrong with you. Everybody else is leaving the cave and you're stuck. And when I tell people, hey, this isn't your fault. You're not broken. You're not trapped. You're not doomed. It's really simple. The experts just didn't know what they were talking about and they sent you to the wrong location. And I hope you can see, you, Shemaiah, and your listener, if you've been trapped in a cave your whole life and can't escape this pain of anxiety, can you understand if somebody gave you a good map and sent you to the correct location of the exit that you really could leave the cave and be free? And it's not complicated. It's actually simple.
Well, the way I was responding to that is that sometimes people can have good intentions, but they overcomplicate things.
That's 100% right. I'm not here to disparage anybody that's out there trying to help. They have good intentions, but they inherited incomplete information. They went to a school, they learned it from somewhere else, and they just passed it on. And they have good intentions, but it's just they don't know what they're talking about enough. But they don't know that they don't know because they haven't been testing it and getting results. So what I want your audience to know is this isn't my little theory. I'm not just telling you, hey, it's not in the mind, it's in the body. Your anxiety is coming from the body. And we know that because when we started developing our program just focused on the body, the data, I'm talking hard data, my anxiety and PTSD went away and did not come back. But also our clients' fear and anxiety went away and didn't come back. And again, we have a program where you only pay at the end when you get results. So this isn't my cute little theory. This is like backed up by the results. So I want your audience to know, if you have had fear and anxiety for a very long time and you feel broken and trapped and like there's something wrong with you, there is nothing wrong with you. The experts confused you and they sent you to the wrong location. You do not have an anxiety issue. You have a location issue. And when you have the correct location of what's going on, you can be free of this very, very quickly. And it can be simple.
When people look at your website, they can read everything about what you're doing and the breakdown of your training and everything with the nervous system reset, air quotes. Kind of share with the audience what are some of the studies that you implement during the training that they can get a little taste of before they actually connect to you and say, you know what, this is something I need to start doing for myself?
Well, it's a great question. So I don't, even though we do have this program, it's 6 weeks, and you only pay at the end. I don't talk about the program itself too much. And here's why. When you tell people that you're solving anxiety and it's simple, they just do not believe you. They are too skeptical and they've often lost hope. And if I say, hey, I got this great program, their skepticism will tell them, well, it's not going to work. And it sure as heck ain't going to work for me. So I don't talk about the program too much. However, at the end, I'm going to send your audience to my website, danielpackard.com, and you're going to get a free training, a 45-minute training, not the full 6 week, but a mini 45, where you're going to apply one of our techniques so that you can really feel and experience how this process works, but most importantly, have an experience to show you this is going to work for you. If I sit here and talk about it, it's not going to give them the same as an experience. So if you like what you're hearing and you want to know more, go get the little sample and that'll show you much more than I could ever say. But what I can tell you is again, why this is simple. Because it's not just the body. It's good to know that it's coming from the body, but I want your audience to know where in the body. Your dad talked about the root cause, but we want to know the real root cause. And the body is nice, but it's not real precise. So do you want me to tell you the precise location that's making everybody anxious?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So here's the reason we were able to solve this is because our approach wasn't spiritual and it wasn't psychological. It was mechanical. Spirituality, faith, psychology is great. But it's often abstract concepts that help you understand life. And there's value in that. There really is. But if you want to really solve something, it helps to have a mechanical understanding. If you're at a restaurant and you're choking and two people walk up to you, one person walks up to you and says, hey, let me tell you what's going on. I think you have a real scarcity mindset. You're really focusing on your lack of air instead of the abundance of air that's out there. And I really think that you need to have a more positive outlook on breathing, and that'll help you out. And then there's another person who walks up with a more mechanical explanation. They go, look, here's the thing. You got some food caught in your windpipe and you're choking. And I'm going to add pressure to your stomach. And that's going to put mechanical pressure behind the food. And then it's going to pop the food out. And then you can mechanically breathe again. Okay. When you need a solution, do you want a solution that's spiritual, psychological, or mechanical?
I'm going to play the guy on the outside that's going to, be picky. I would say in some cases, you might need a combination.
A combination is fine. If you have a mechanical solution and along that way, you have faith and other things to support it, that's wonderful. But when you need to solve something fast and you want to solve it, not just understand it, but solve it.
Mechanical for sure.
What's more important, spiritual, psychological, or mechanical?
Mechanical. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. If you're struggling with life and I don't know, your house is crumbling because the foundation is mechanically crumbling and you want to rebuild your house, it's great to have faith. It's great to see God's role in rebuilding your house, but
do something.
You need to know mechanically how to rebuild the foundation, how to mechanically rewire the house. You need that part, and then you can use God's faith to support you in the mechanical part. You feel me?
Yes, and that's what I was getting at because some person will try to argue, well, what about miracles? And that can be a whole different discussion. But yeah, and what you're talking about, very cut and dry situations, yeah, mechanical, 100%.
Yeah. Now, people don't like mechanical. We like the spiritual, the religious, the psych. It's interesting. It's fun. It's meaningful. And I'm not dismissing it. Yeah. I'm just saying I'm a very spiritual person. I'm connected to God. But man, if I'm bleeding, I want to know how to mechanically close up the wound. That's not a time to start reading scripture. Now, you might want to read scripture to help, support the healing process, but man, mechanics. So
that's good.
To do that, we have to understand this thing called anxiety mechanically. And the reason that's possible is because we're in the body. See, if you think it's a problem of the mind, nobody understands the mind. Man, there's like 180 billion neurons. I think 100 trillion synaptic pathways. Nobody understands the mind, but the body, we sort of understand a lot of parts of the body because it's mechanical. You got a skeleton, you got arteries, you got lungs, you got teeth. All of that is God's beautiful mechanical design of a human body. Man, do you know how expensive it would be to purchase a human body on AliExpress? It would be trillions of dollars. But God gives us a tongue, eyes, ligaments, healing. The human body is magnificent. It's one of God's most incredible creations. The eyes to see sunsets and ears to listen to a baby giggle. It was all given to us by God and it works really well, but it's still mechanical because mechanical stuff works. So we asked ourselves, where in the body is making everybody feel like this? What's the system? Because the body is made up of systems, the skeletal system, the skin system, the cardiac system. It's all systems. So we said, what system is making everybody feel like this? Because if we can find the system, every system has engineering and mechanics, and you know why systems fail and you know how to repair systems. So once we asked this question, the answer revealed itself, and it was so simple. And I'm going to explain it to your audience, okay? Now, mechanically, anxiety is a symptom. It's a symptom. And what's it a symptom of mechanically? It's a symptom of not feeling safe.
Yeah.
Can you, Shemaiah, and your listener understand that if you just don't feel safe from within, you're going to feel fear, and you might call that feeling of fear either anxiety, overwhelm, worry, or insecurity. Can you see that?
Yeah, because it can be because a choice that you made, or it can be something that's out of your control that can trigger you to be worried about something.
Yep. For whatever reason, if you feel unsafe, you will then mechanically feel a feeling called fear, which you might then call anxiety or worry or concern. So I want to let your audience know you do not have an anxiety problem. Anxiety is a symptom of fear because deep down you don't feel safe. Now, the question is, why don't you feel safe? Well, there's a system in the body that controls whether we feel safe or not. And you know what it is already. Take out the word anxiety, okay? Because that word is kind of misunderstood. Just use the word nervous. People are feeling nervous. A little bit of nervousness we call worry. A lot of nervousness we call anxiety. And a lot of nervousness we'll call a panic attack. But let's just use the word nervous, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So if we're looking for a system in the body that's making everybody feel extra nervous, what system in the body do you think most likely is making everybody feel extra nervous? The endocrine system, the capillary system, or the nervous system? What do you think?
I'm going to take a wild guess. The nervous system.
Gold stars to you, Shemaiah. Gold stars to your audience, because I know they got the right answer. And the reason you got the right answer is because it is not complicated. It's dead simple. Think about that. And again, this isn't theory. This is like real. This joy and this calm you hear in my heart is because this is true. So your anxiety, you do not have anxiety. You're feeling unsafe from within. Because you have a system in your body called the nervous system. And your nervous system is not running correctly. It's sort of like running wonky. And it's cranking out all this feelings of unsafety, aka anxiety. So your audience, I'm telling you, you do not have anxiety. You do not have an anxiety disorder. You just have a system in your body that's not running quite right. And it's making you feel unsafe. And then creating this thing called anxiety. Now, the downside of it is that there's this system in your body called the nervous system, and it's not running right, and it's making everybody feel unsafe and anxious. But every system has mechanics and mechanisms. So the downside is your nervous system is running wonky and making everybody feel afraid. But if the nervous system is mechanical, why, Shemaiah, and to your audience, why is it good news to maybe find out that your anxiety is just a symptom of a malfunctioning nervous system? Why is that good news if we want to solve this?
Well, for one, it's like exposing a warning sign that if you don't tend to this soon, then later it might be too late.
Well, that's a very important part that you've pointed out. See, every system in the body, whether it's your teeth, your bones, your diet, your digestion, and your nervous system, all those systems usually run pretty well if you take care of them. Now, we know how to take care of a lot of systems in our body. We know to get enough sleep. We know to drink enough water. We know to eat a balanced diet. We know how to take care of a lot of systems in our body. We know to brush and floss. But what our research showed is nobody showed us how to take care of the feelings and emotions in our nervous system. So to use your word, Shemaiah, from about 20 minutes ago, we have accidentally neglected this system. And so the system is basically crashed because we don't know how to take care of it. And it's basically running funky. But here's the beauty. This is God communicating to you because God gives you the human body. It's incredible. It's magnificent. On one condition, you take care of it. If you take care of your teeth, they take care of you. You eat a balanced diet, you're pretty good. You get enough sleep, drink enough water, you're pretty good. But if you don't do the basics and you neglect parts of your body, God doesn't like it because God wants you to love you and take care of you. And so God, if you're not taking care of something, if you're neglecting yourself, he will send a little messenger to get your attention. And that messenger is a little thing called pain. And pain is God's way of basically saying, hey, look, I know you're not going to listen right away, but I'm going to send you pain. It's an alarm to get your attention that you can't ignore, to force you to learn that you got to take care of something. And so I want to let your audience know that for me and our clients, your anxiety is the pain of your nervous system because you never learned to take care of it properly. And God wants you to love that system just like all the systems in your body. And he's sending you this anxiety, not as a punishment, not because you're broken, not because you're crazy, because God loves you and he wants you to love yourself. It's just he sees that you're not getting the memo, so he had to turn up the pain. But anxiety is just your body's alarm system of telling you that it needs love and care. And here's where it's amazing. When you have anxiety, most people, I used to feel broken, like there was something wrong with me. But let me ask you, Shemaiah, and your audience, if you have a system in your body and you neglect that system in your body and that system releases some pain, maybe it's chest pains, maybe it's tooth pain, are you broken? Is there something wrong with you? Or is that actually the way the body was designed?
I would say, in one perspective, just that part of the body system perhaps is broken, but doesn't necessarily mean your whole body is broken. It just means you need to shift your intention to something that is literally crying at you saying, hey, it's time for you to pay attention to me.
Exactly. It's not broken. What happens is it's malfunctioning. If you don't take care of something, it starts to which is very different than that feeling of shame and guilt that people feel like, oh, I'm broken. Yeah. So I'm here to tell your audience, you're not broken. There is nothing wrong with you. There is something really right about you in your body, designed by God, an alarm system that's trying to get your attention. The problem is you just never knew this is what's going on. If you don't brush and floss, your teeth will hurt. It hurts, but you know what's going on. Oh, I didn't brush and floss. You go to the dentist, you get your teeth fixed, and then you brush and floss. You know that. But the experts sent you to the mind, and they didn't send you to the right location, so you're not able to do this. But I'm telling you, when I figured this out for me, and I saw, I don't have anxiety. I have not been taking care of the feelings and emotions of my nervous system. And God is using this pain of anxiety to get my attention as an opportunity to take better care of myself, which is what he wanted all along. And when I learned that lesson and I learned how to take care of my nervous system, what happened was the symptom, the pain, the alarm, he took away because it didn't serve its part. I had learned my lesson. And what I got in place of that is feeling safe from within. And it's permanent. And so if you're listening to this, the value of this process is that it's mechanical and it's in your body. And it's simple. And just like you can fix your teeth or your heart or your knee or your bones, you can repair your nervous system. That's what we show you how to do in our 6-week program. And the end result is that you wake up every morning and you just feel safe from within. Shemaiah, and to your audience, can you see how much better life would be on multiple levels if you woke up every morning and you just felt safe from within no matter what was going on in the world?
Yeah, I mean, let me chime in here real quick, because when I mentioned the whole spiritual side, God, whatever, I think that's something that can be defined by, by the individual. Not everybody has the same perspective, same opinion, or same experience, right? But there's a saying about there's a saying of fight or flight. And I feel like when people perceive a situation, a threat, an issue, it can be mechanical, where they just need to stop neglecting the thing that's being neglected, or it can also be a situation where it's like your lifestyle. Maybe that is contributing to your inability to fight. You're fighting for the wrong thing, but you should be fighting for this thing. Does that make sense?
Well, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of layers to this. What I would say is those types of things that you're talking to, which are definitely part of it, it tends to make the situation worse. What we saw is just daily. It's sort of like with your teeth. If you don't take care of your teeth become fragile.
There you go.
And if they're fragile and you bite into a carrot, you're going to feel pain. Now, the carrot's not causing the pain. The carrot is pushing on the fragile, neglected tooth. Or then if you eat into a hard candy, well, that'll also push on the tooth and you'll feel pain. So the issue is the tooth hasn't been taken care of. It's been neglected and it's fragile and it's releasing pain because you didn't take care of it. Then other things are going to activate that pain and make it worse. But that's not the root cause. The root cause is that the tooth wasn't taken care of. So there's lots of things that can make your anxiety worse, but that's not the same of what's causing it. What's causing it, the data showed, is our nervous system wasn't taken care of and is basically cranking out too much unsafety. And then, life can push on you and you feel worse. So to solve this, we show your audience in a bunch of simple steps and exercises they do every day to bring their nervous system back to health. Just like you bring your teeth back to health, your knee back to health, your heart back to health, your muscles back to health. And when you do that, you just feel safe and solid from within. And then those external things that used to really affect you, you feel them, you feel the pressure of life, the stress of life, but you're solid. And when you feel solid, man, I see this. So about 6 weeks ago, a client reached out to me And he said, Daniel, I have anxiety. I have panic attacks. I've tried everything. And it's ruining my life. I'm not present. I'm not focused. I'm not doing what I love. And more importantly, I'm not there for my kids, and I'm not there for my partner. And he said, I've tried everything. Nothing solved it. He said, but I met somebody at a party that had done your program and had similar symptoms to me, and it went away. And they also said that you only charge at the end. He said, so I'm intrigued. And I said, okay, well, we're going to get rid of this quickly. And he said, how do you do that? And I said, well, we restore your nervous system so you feel safe. He said, I haven't felt safe since I was a kid. I was like, I know, welcome to the club. How would life be if you felt safe? He said, oh my God, it wouldn't just affect my anxiety. I'd feel more confident. I would feel more present. I would feel more everything, more authentic. I said, exactly. So he joined, and about 5 weeks into the program, he reached out to me and he just said, I'm so grateful. And we said, what happened? He said, well, not only am I waking up feeling safe, and my anxiety is virtually gone. My panic attacks are definitely gone. He said, but my confidence went up. He said, I was at work the other day and I started volunteering for things I would never have done. But he said, also, for the first time in 2 years, I went outside and played with my kids. And he said, and I was nicer to my wife. And he said, I just want to thank you, because now that I feel safe and have this healthy nervous system, I'm just much happier. But more importantly, my kids have their dad back. My wife has her husband back. So the power of what we're doing, Shemaiah, it ain't about anxiety. It's about giving people a foundation of safety to show up in the world in multiple ways to benefit not only themselves, but they care. And when you feel fully safe, you're free of this, man. It's about freedom. That's the ultimate result. That's what everybody wants. And that's what we're trying to get people, is real freedom to be confident, authentic, and show up to the world the way everybody knows they're destined to be.
And I get everything you're saying, because you're keeping it simple. And I feel like a lot of times we can be taught growing up to have this more abstract approach. And it makes me think, in school, why wouldn't they have, some kind of course similar to this? Because it's a difference of two people someone who builds a house, right? And they're physical, they're building, they got the hammer, they got, the supplies to, get the foundation right, all that stuff, and they're doing it, right? But then you get this other person, they're just thinking about all the things they're about to do. They're visioning this amazing house, and they got the most amazing blueprint, but they never pick up the hammer.
Exactly. That's why people feel so trapped by the fear and anxiety. It's not only the fear and anxiety, it's so confusing. They're given all sorts of different tools. None of them are really designed to solve anything. And everybody's running around feeling worse and trapped and confused. But if your teeth hurt, but you're not trapped and confused. It's the system. I'll go to an expert who knows this system. They'll fix my teeth. I'll brush and floss. Yeah. It ain't that complicated, but the experts have made it complicated. And so our vision is to get this education into the schools. People know, diet literacy, financial literacy, a lot of types of ways, a lot of knowledge about how to take care of things, the daily basics. But nobody has taught the daily basics of the nervous system. And that's why our teens are so insecure and anxious, because it isn't taught. So we want to get this program into schools and teach kids very, very young. You got to brush and floss. You got to get enough sleep. You got to drink enough water. And here's what you got to do every day to feel safe from within. But in the meantime, clients come to us who have anxious children. This happened about 2 months ago. This woman from Colorado said, I'm anxious. I see I'm making my kid anxious. It's heartbreaking because every mom or dad just wants a happy child, but I see I'm passing it on and I don't know how to stop it. And I said, well, we're going to show you what you can do every day to feel safe from within. And then your kids are going to see that and model that, and you'll be able to pass that on to your kids. She said, my God, if you could do that. I said, just wait. So about week 3, she reached out to us and she said, okay, I'm so thankful. And we said, oh, is your anxiety gone? She said, it's down by about 80%. She said, but the real thing is that my kid came home from school 2 days ago. And I asked my teenager, how did school go? And the teenager said, well, I got bullied today and I didn't like it, but I didn't freak out ever. Yeah. And the mom said, well, why? What happened? She said, well, and the teenager said, well, I've been watching what you've been doing in this program and I just started doing it. So I got bullied. I didn't like it, but it didn't make me anxious or hurt.
Yeah.
And so the mom was so grateful because she said, not only have you shown me how to feel safe and happy, but now I'm going to have a safe and happy child. And I mean, we're all here to help. So when we can help people that help others, that's the ultimate gift.
Once again, talk to Daniel Packard. Go to his website, danielpackard.com. And what I think is really valuable in this whole setting is breaking things down to where it's simple. Break things down to a simple form, because it's so easy in this world of all these gurus and all these, social feeds of buy my master course and buy this course and buy that course and get this and get that and get that. I mean, very well intended people are serving, the marketplace. So there are various values that can be found. But to your point, when it comes to the most basic, just get up and go. I love the illustration of the person choking. You're not going to stand up and say, oh my God, I hope they have the faith to get better. No, they're choking. And I think there is a good point to be made that there's a time and place to understand what needs to be done physically versus what we should reflect on spiritually.
Yeah. And it's so important. This thing has not been approached mechanically and simply. It's been approached psychologically, spiritual, from faith, and it's all valuable, but it makes it confusing and complicated. And again, it just doesn't solve it. And the problem is, people have faith, but if they don't have the mechanical knowledge, okay, if you need a root canal because your tooth is infected and you don't know what that is, I don't care how much praying you do. You need to go in there and clean out the tooth and learn to brush and floss. There's no way around it. I don't care what God you have. There's a mechanical component to this, but people don't know it. So people of faith, I worked with a gentleman from Canada and he did our program. And he said, Daniel, what I love about what you're doing, it's just A, it's simple, B, it effing works. He said, but what's beautiful is your program does require faith. There is a sort of spiritual component to it, but it supports the mechanics. If you want to lose weight and you want to change your diet and get to the gym, there's mechanics there. If you burn more calories than you eat, you will lose weight. If you do reps with weights, you will gain muscle, but you still may need faith to get you up in the morning, to give you strength to get to the gym. Yeah. So for people out there, keep your faith, keep your spirituality. I love it. It'll give you strength and nourishment. But man, if you want something simple and mechanical so that you can wake up in the morning and just have the result of feeling safe so you can feel happier, that's what we're about. And the power is in the simplicity, and people aren't used to simple, but man, simple is sexy. KISS. Keep it simple, sexy. Now, Shemaiah, I like things simple. You know that. So here's what I want your audience to do. If you like what I'm hearing, if you like what you're hearing and you're like, man, this guy's making sense. It's not in the mind, it's in the body. And if it's in the body, then yeah, the nervous system, and it's a system, and systems can fail and systems can be repaired. So maybe this is simple, and maybe you're feeling a little bit more hope, but you're feeling skeptical. That's okay. Be skeptical, but be open. The people that work with us are skeptical, but open to something new, open to something being better, and open to actually letting go of their fear and anxiety. A lot of people don't want to let it go, but if you are open to learning something simple and open to actually being free of this so you can live a better life, then the next step is to go to my website. And I like things simple. My name's Daniel Packard. Shemaiah, what's my website?
DanielPackard.com.
Darn tootin', because it's simple. Okay. And the next step is to get this training that we have. It's 45 minutes, but I like to keep things simple. So Shemaiah, what do you think I'm charging for this 45-minute training?
If people were listening to the show, they would have known that you won't charge anything until the end.
That's true. I already told them it's free. Free because I want to remove obstacles to get you healing. And let's keep this simple. So if you're skeptical but open, the next step is to go to my website, danielpackard.com. You'll see a training. It is free. Okay. And it's not even that long. It's 45 minutes. Simple. And on that free training, you are going to experience and see what you're doing every day accidentally that you don't even know you're doing that's making your nervous system feel unsafe. Then you're going to understand what you need to do to make your nervous system healthy and feel safe. Then we're going to give you one of our tools to try. And I'm going to guide you through the tool on the training. You're going to apply the tool to your nervous system. And after 3 minutes of using the tool, you're going to feel measurably, because you're going to measure it. You're going to feel measurably safer and calmer. And things that used to make you feel unsafe and anxious won't affect you as much. And when you have that experience, a new experience, see, your audience has had a lot of bad experiences trying to work on this stuff. And so they're skeptical, but I want to give you a new experience that will give you hope that you really can live a life without fear and anxiety, and that it can be simple. So if you think 45 minutes is a good use of time to find out what's making you feel unsafe, to understand how to feel safe, and then have a real experience that'll give you more hope so that you can feel safe for the rest of your life, so that you can be more confident, authentic, and show up for yourself and the people you care about and just be that best version of you. If you think that's a good use of your time, then I invite you to just take the next step, come to my website, get the free training, and just be skeptical, but open to a new possibility that you don't have to live like this if you don't want to.
Well, once again, it's been a true honor talking to our guest today here on Be Focused Radio, Daniel Packard. Go to his website, danielpackard.com. And a wise guy once told me, mine's like a parachute. It don't work unless it's open. So if you want to be open to this, then I suggest you explore the opportunity that's in front of you. So with that, Daniel, thank you for your time.
It's been an honor. Thank you.